It's not like I grew up in a very good environment, probably an environment that would have produced the guy I am today. So I was talking to my sister a few days ago, and my sister told me that my dream was to one of my dreams was to own a supermarket. But you know what my dream of a supermarket was? My dream of a supermarket was a small retail store, what you guys call Katemba.
Yeah.
Just slightly bigger, because that's what I was used to seeing. To get. But now when I think about it, yes, I do own a supermarket. It's an online supermarket, probably open to the whole world. Okay. Do you know that investors audit your personal lifestyle, like the life you live? So of course, as you run any business, you need to sustain yourself. So if you have investors that are not concerned about how you're surviving, then you probably have the wrong investors. You need to pay rent. You have a life.
Dun 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 dun.
Hungry? Order your favorite meals and drinks from hundreds of restaurants through the best app and have your food delivered to your doorstep. Download the AfriDelivery app now.
In here, out there. Welcome again, boys and girls, ladies, gentlemen, everything in between. What do we call Sam Smith? What is he? What does he identify as? Or people like
They.
They.
Sam Smith identifies as...
He says they.
Is it
They. Yeah.
not a woman?
No.
All right, cool.
Yes. So, yeah, whatever you identify as, welcome to yet another episode 71.
This is 71 after Brian Shanda, another business episode, and this one too.
71.
Yep.
They said we wouldn't get here.
You know, it's
I know who they is. Because they told me.
that we will not get past episode 10, 11, and here we are, episode 71.
71.
71
Over 2.5 million streams on YouTube.
with 44,000 subscribers. I think as of this airing, 100,000 followers on Facebook.
And we've got similar downloads on Apple Music, Spotify.
Yep.
Where else are we?
Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, where else? And remember, even on those platforms, you can still click subscribe. YouTube. And I was looking at our YouTube analytics just yesterday. We've got how many, like on the Mutare Mwanza episode, we had like, it's 80,000 plus now as of this airing. and you look at how many people are watching and subscribing, only 40% of our viewers are actually clicking on the subscribe. And we keep saying, look, the more you subscribe, the better the quality of a guest we can bring on That's That podcast.
Like this gentleman here.
Like this gentleman here.
You think he's going to come to a podcast
With 5,000
with 5,000 subscribers?
No.
He'll look at us like a joke. He'll laugh us out of his office. Like, psst,
You know how far this
small-timers.
man travels?
Do I know? Yes.
I'm looking in the camera like,
No, that-
do you
that's-
know how
that's my
much this
point.
man travels the world and how many
Yes.
podcasts he could be on, and he chooses to be on That's That podcast because of the numbers.
He just did the World Bank.
You see what
He
I mean?
spoke there.
And we're not even at that level.
Tomorrow.
Well, when this airs,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
it would have already. You see, just
Oh, yeah.
I want to talk more about the World Bank, but first, Elson, can we talk about the beautiful dining room we're in right now?
man. I don't know how much of the set you are able to see, but no, we're not in a kitchen. It looks like a replica of a kitchen, but this is beautiful. This is Ope in Zambia. I will tell you more as we go. Let me get to my reading points.
You know, I always wondered what an episode with Elson in full control would sound like.
Oh, really?
And we're getting a little,
We're getting a feel.
we're getting a feel of it.
Do you like how I am when I'm
so
in
far,
control?
so good.
You like
So
how
far,
I
so
am when
good.
I'm in control?
You know, somebody actually dared me last week, Wallace. Sorry, I was asking again earlier. Is it Wallace or Wallace?
Whichever works for you.
Because I think Zambians.
They call me Wallace.
Yes.
They call me Wallace. Yeah.
Wallace.
You were saying?
Yeah. Crap, what was I saying?
Someone dared you last week?
Oh, crap, yeah. Somebody was asking me, can you imagine what an episode without you would be? Just Elson and the guest. And this lady goes on to laugh and says, I think it wouldn't last more than 5 minutes. That lady the guest would walk off,
Why would the guest walk off?
especially if it was a female guest.
Why? What's
They were making reference to the Mtalemwanza episode and how I just kept stopping you guys from almost starting a fight.
No, we weren't fighting. We're actually getting along.
Yeah, I thought you
Notice
were.
how you
no, but
said,
this person,
notice how you said you left the chat, and when you said you came back in the chat, how her and I both said get the fuck out. So we were actually getting along.
Yeah, no, you did get along.
Wait, hold on, but this
Strangely.
is what I want to understand as well is the whole, especially with females. Why especially with females?
It's a discussion for another day. We're talking about this place we're in. You're talking points.
So Open. So this is a franchise of Open China. It's a top cabinet maker in China specializing in customized. We have got a phone ringing. So check this out. You know how it's different to like when you just go into like what's that place along Kafua Road where you buy furniture and whatever furniture that they give you is what you just like plug into your house. These guys come into your cabin, right?
Yeah.
By cabin, I mean house. And they take measurements. So they customize the furniture to your house.
That's what Opine does.
That's what they do. Imagine that.
Beautiful stuff. So imagine this in your home. They come and measure your home and they make this to fit your little or big dining
so
room.
no two kitchens,
Are the same.
cabinets are the same. Or whatever else that they give you. Isn't this dope?
That's amazing. Yeah.
You know what? Exactly. Well, there's a bit more, but we'll get to this as we go. So right now where we're shooting from is ISPAC.
Yep.
ISPAC keeps getting bigger. All right. So describe
It's
this
like a
area.
universe always expanding, you know.
Is the universe expanding?
Isn't that what Neil deGrasse Tyson says?
Nah, he talks out of his ass. Wait, so this is what next to Oceanama?
Yes.
Yes. So Open Zambia.
Opposite Prime Catch.
Is it opposite? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, close, right?
diagonally opposite Prime Catch.
Yeah.
And also other things we're going to be talking about in this episode, AfriDelivery.
I was speaking to Alex, the guy that manages this place, and I was saying, do you know AfriDelivery? And he said, no. You know how I looked at this guy like, really? Because every other person and their mama that I know
He
knows
uses
about AfriDelivery.
AfriDelivery to deliver stuff, yeah.
Which is incredible, man. Given how long have you been in existence now?
5 years plus.
Wow. That's almost as old as my son.
It's a long time.
It is a long time, yeah.
Welcome back, man.
Thank you.
So, to anybody wondering why Wallace is back, we left so much on the table in the last episode.
Too much.
Yours, Wallace, I must tell you right now, and I must give you your flowers. Your episode is one which had so many clips made out of it.
Awesome.
People had so many nuggets picked out from that episode, especially how you never let your customers know what problems you're having as a business.
Yeah.
For me, that was a major take home as well. Other things I picked out from that episode was how we always think money is the first thing that you should have when starting a business.
Yeah.
I liked how you spoke about the drive, the plan, things that you should prepare, but we'll delve more into that a little later. Things that you should prepare for prepare when asking for money from investors and things like that. We'll get into that. I want to know more about the thing we spoke about when we just started, the World Bank.
Yeah.
That's a huge platform for.
What's that about?
Yeah. So they're doing a 3-day event where they are talking about something Asian community something, but e-commerce to be specific. So they reached out to me and asked me whether I'd like to speak. So I'm one of the speakers there tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what are you speaking about?
So I'm speaking about
in depth.
I'm speaking about basically. So the first question they ask is, what the Central Asia community actually. This is a question that should look at when they are expanding their business, the e-commerce business. So, for example, if you want to come to Africa, what they should look at, and of course, there's certain points I listed there. Which number one, first of all, understand your customer. Number two, there's a lot of mobile penetration in Africa, so your product has to be very compatible with mobile devices and so on. You have to really focus on customer service. There's quite a number of some stuff I highlighted.
Dude, there's something that I've always wanted to find out, right? Like, are you more of a delivery company or are you more of a technology company?
We're a tech company. The reason why we went into delivery is because the ecosystem never existed. So when we built our business the way we built it, whatever we have now, like these motorbike riders, never existed. So we had to build the ecosystem first. And that's why, for example, in our business, we own the whole value chain. So we own the technology, we had our own drivers and so on and so forth. So we were trying to create the environment first. Most people don't know that when we launched AfriDelivery, my second business after AfriDelivery was called Get Drinks.
Get drinks?
Get Drinks. So we built a whole app which works really, really well. But by the time we launched it, AfriDelivery was way too big. So we just incorporated the drinks part into the thing. So what we did when we looked at it end of last year, we were like, we've got these apps that work really well, the website that work really well. Why not just license this to somebody that probably has a couple of shops in town and they sell liquor and they can just run with it. So very soon you'll be seeing it around.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Quite interesting, actually. You know what?
I know Bobby has got a business similar to that, but I don't know if it delivers though. Because he sells alcohol,
Right. Like in a liquor store?
In a liquor store.
But do they deliver?
I don't know.
Because I mean,
that's my point is he could then get onto his platform.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
So yeah, we give you the tech and of course you can write on our logistics. And I mean, it's a whole 360 solution.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting, man. One of the major reasons, like I said in our preamble, for wanting Wallace to come back was quite all right. We do say money should be the last thing on your mind when you're coming up with an idea for a business and you're worrying about how to grow your business. And one of the major questions that kept popping up is, quite all right, you guys are talking about start a business, have the idea, money should be the last thing on your mind, but how does one raise capital? I do not come from a family with money. I don't know people with money. How do I raise money for my business?
Before he answers that, do you remember the last meeting we had?
Yeah.
At your office?
Yeah.
What was it about?
Raising money.
So I know this firsthand. The frustration where you start and so there's different types of entrepreneurs and there's different challenges that you face. So the predicament that I was in at that point is you have got 40 odd people that are working with you, but now you need to scale.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's where you need capital. So it could be either to start or it could be you've started, you are running, and in order for you to make more money, you need to scale. And when you need to scale, you need capital. So just back to this question.
Let's start it from the ground up. Let's say this question came mostly from women.
Yeah.
Somebody trying to start, let's say, a baking business, a cake business. Let's get very practical here. What advice would you have for somebody trying to start a cake business? They need ovens, they need whatever raw materials to start this. Where can they start from in terms of raising money?
Good question. So there's always most of the things that we need to start a business or to run a business. They're available. They're there.
Right.
So you can either pay for them, or you can get them in any other way. legal way, for sure. I'm not saying people should steal.
Start stealing now.
So I'll try and tell, when I'm explaining stuff, I try and tell people, I tell my stories and people probably will pick one or two things from there. So this is the same thing I'll do for myself. I'll do in this scenario. So someone asked me 2 months ago, they asked me, okay, so how do you get the best guys in your team? Because I've got really, really good guys. My top management is really spot on. Dev is really spot on. Marketing is really good, and so on. And these are guys, if you look at the dollar value, if you're a startup, you really can't afford these guys. And I told, my answer to these guys were, you have two options. So you either pay them, but then also now you have to be very, very good at selling your dream. That's your currency. Most people don't understand that. That if you've got if you're very convincing, and if you're very convinced about your dream, you'll be shocked at how many other people you can bring on board into your dream to help you push it. So how I've done it myself is I tried, this is something we'll talk about. I try what we call institutional fundraising. So we go to VCs and so on and so forth. And of course, it's a known fact.
Just for the sake of other college dropouts out there, maybe you can just elaborate on VCs. I know
so VCs are basically people that give you a shitload of cash to scale your business very, very fast.
Right.
Yeah. And of course, it comes with crazy investor nightmares.
And VC stands for venture capital.
Yes, yeah. And of course, unfortunately, the place we're at in Africa, it's hard. You're getting a single digit when it comes to percentage, when it comes to investments in Africa, and the conditions that come with it are ridiculous. But then, when I was sitting in my office, when I started my second venture, when I was sitting in my office the other day, someone came. So looking at AfriDelivery, someone bought some bikes and put them there and said, okay, use them, whatever, we can do some rev share and so on. And I was cool. But then so we continued building a relationship, and finally, same person came back and said, I'm looking at other things I can do with the money that I have. Do you have any other ideas? You understand? And someone else came and said, okay, since we're not institutional investors, are we able to, can I bring 5 of my friends? We'll put in $1,000 each and invest in your business as a unit.
Was it really $1,000?
It was $1,000. The maximum one of the people gave was probably $1,500. And I noticed that in Africa, actually, if you think about it, I'm not saying you need to have rich friends. I mean, not everybody needs $5,000 or $100,000. You might be needing just $500.
True.
Okay. But then I can guarantee you for a fact, if you get exceptionally good at selling your dream, there's somebody there that will invest in you. You'll be shocked. Because that's the only currency that you have. You get? That's the only currency that you have. I can't sit here and lie to people that you'll be outright get an investor. Me, when I started, I didn't have an investor. Other than, of course, for those who know my story, they know that I was lucky enough to probably borrow 1 or 2 things from family and friends. But if you look at the level of the business we built, you really can't build such a business with hundreds of dollars. You're looking at thousands of dollars. But the most important point I'm trying to lay here is that if you don't have the currency, the hard money, the only other thing that you have to trade is your dream, and you have to be very, very good at telling your story. Guaranteed for a fact, 1 or 2 people will invest in you.
There's a couple of things.
And not everybody is poor. That perception no.
I mean, you mentioned not everybody has a rich friend. We've got you, so Austin and I have got nothing to worry about. Yeah.
So there's a couple of things based off what you've just said, which is I'm thinking of a kid in Chibolia whose immediate friends are people that are around where he is.
Yeah.
Right? What? You want me to talk into the mic? Yeah. You want me to put this big... Anyway. So his immediate friends and his environment are people that are around where he is. Yeah. So he could sell his dreams all he likes, but if the people that he is around are people that have got the same limitations that he does, what chances does he have of getting people that could have access to, 5 times the amount of money that he has?
Unfortunately, and honestly speaking, you're a product of your environment. Yeah. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you've got the same chances of succeeding as fast. Okay. Unless you've got luck also contributes a lot into your success. You know that you could be lucky, get a sponsorship. You probably are able to get some sort of level of exposure. But your environment really contributes. If you look at most successful people, the environment really contributed. They either come from very advanced environments, or they somehow managed to get out of the environment they were in. So I'm not going to sit here and lie to people that, okay, so chances of you making it are equally the same. I mean, in real sense, they're not.
Yeah.
But luck contributes. You might be like, there are a lot of people that get sponsorships from deeper and the deepest of the villages, and they find themselves in these great schools and so on and so forth. And even when I was growing up, it's not like I grew up in a very good environment, probably an environment that would have produced the guy I am today. So I was talking to my sister a few days ago, and my sister told me that my dream was one of my dreams was to own a supermarket. But you know what my dream of a supermarket was? My dream of a supermarket was a small retail store, what you guys called Katemba.
Yeah.
Just slightly bigger, because that's what I was used to seeing. You get? But now when I think about it, yes, I do own a supermarket. It's an online supermarket, probably open to the whole world. Okay? But all this is because of my environment. So, and also this is a challenge to the parents. I remember there's a time I was talking somewhere, Zambia Institute of Marketing, and they asked me what advice I would give to parents, and I told them, try as much as you can to expose your kids. Get them out of that environment that you were in or you grew up in.
Yeah.
Expose them as much as you can. It's a risk, yes. Probably, of course, it comes with change of culture and so on. But that is the best thing you can give your kid, exposure.
I agree.
If you can expose your kids to as much as possible, chances are very high that probably that kid will come back and change that community.
Yeah.
So I think that's my simple answer to this.
Before I go on to my next answer, I'm hungry. Are you? Oh, you got a wife.
I'm hungry.
I'm good.
I'm hungry.
What? You order food?
No. We've got AfriDelivery here.
Let me.
You are slow as.
I remember last time
You got us lunch?
I texted
Last time we had a lot of chicken.
texted my assistant. So what do you guys want to have today?
Chicken would be good.
Chicken. Are we allowed to
Can you
mention
be a
stores?
bit more adventurous? You say what?
No, just one
mention
chicken.
stores?
That's it. I haven't had chicken in a while.
Yeah, you can.
You see, being married, you get to have a lot of variety, and I haven't had chicken in a while.
Variety in food.
Yes.
Okay. You need to be specific. but
We can do Nando's. We're a big team here. We can do Nando's maybe.
yeah, Nando's is good.
Nando's is good.
Yeah.
Cool. Richard, do you want to do us the honors?
They need. You say what?
I was talking to Richard there. So get us. Should I order now?
Please.
Get us.
This.
Do you guys have preferences when it comes to the pieces?
No, I don't give a good goddamn. I can eat up the ass if it's cooked right. This would actually be a pretty good test of how long it will take before the food is delivered.
If
You
we
know
have
the
if we have it before the episode ends,
The funny thing is that when I place it, anyway, I don't want
If it's coming from you, it'll be quick.
It will be like this.
at least now we know every time we need to order food.
We call Wallace.
But I think generally it's pretty fast.
As fast as his sex?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't even know why I'm answering that, but yeah.
Right?
What's the name of the place?
Opain.
Okay. O-P?
O-P-E-I-N. Zambia. East Park. Next to Ottinghammer. Another thing that I also wanted to find out. Say you raise capital.
Yeah.
You are
And actually, anyway, disclaimer. Anyway, continue.
No, go ahead.
Everything I'm saying is it's highly based on my knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
It doesn't have to stand as a fact.
No, absolutely.
So I need people to understand that I'm not here to educate them.
No, absolutely. Lived experience.
Yeah.
How do you manage to sustain a living, at the same time, run, scale a successful business, especially when you've got investors' money. So it's not your money. Like Kalenga, you could have, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids, or whatever the case is. You've got a household to run, and you have been given X amount of dollars by investors, and it's going to take you 4 to 6 months before you begin to make any money.
Okay.
How do you balance your living expenses at the same time, start, scale, and get your business to
A comfortable level, yeah.
So if you're in this case, I'm assuming you're not self-funding, so you're funded.
Yeah.
So the funny thing, do you know that investors audit your personal lifestyle, like the life you live? So of course, as you run any business, you need to sustain yourself. So if you have investors that are not concerned about how you're surviving, then you probably have the wrong investors. You need to pay rent. You have a life, and that's why you have a salary. So if investors are giving you what you call runway or the money you're going to burn for the next 18 months, your salary has to be factored in there as a CEO of the company.
Right.
So if you don't have that, then it's something you need to bring up. This becomes a conflict if you're funding yourself, because in many cases we tend to neglect ourselves. Me, I used to do that until 7 years into this. I noticed my life
I remember
was not changing.
You had
in any
one dirty ass couch.
wasn't that bad.
It was terrible.
It wasn't bad. You
The
sat on that-
stuffing was gone.
You know, I still have that couch.
Do you still?
It's part of my story.
The stuffing was gone. He had like one couch that
And you
faced
know,
the
I
TV.
changed it. I called the guy. I'm like, come and get this couch and bring it brand new. That still has some life.
You remember how the doors used to like scrap on the floor whenever you opened it?
Somebody was looking like this. Because
Whenever
people-
this guy opened his bedroom door, I know, okay, this nigga's up.
but then you've got all these people you're paying every month. There's a time I called my mom and I told her, I'm thinking of there's a time I owed back then I owed my BDM salary for 2 months. So I told my mom,
There's a lot of acronyms flying here now.
Business development manager.
I'm just speaking for the college dropouts out there,
yeah,
bro.
it makes sense. Yeah. So I told her, I told my mom, I need to sell stuff in my house to pay her salary. And my mom told me, if you do that, you will hate yourself. You feel like all you've been doing is for nothing. And I never sold anything. I don't sell my stuff. That's why I said, unless if I want to get rid of it, I'll give it away.
I hope Mianda sees this episode because I owe her 1 month's salary.
Don't sell your shit.
I'm not selling shit.
Don't sell your stuff. You need, and also it's also you need that to be motivated. You're a human being. You're driving this business, because if you leave your office and you're going home and you hate your house, or you hate the car you drive, or you hate whatever you find, the food you eat at your house.
And you're the fun cargo.
I had a fan cargo. I had a fan cargo. That fan cargo was so small, when you hit a hump, it goes to the other side. It was ridiculous. But yeah, so you need, back to your question, you need to survive, man. And it's something that your partners and your investors, because you're putting in a lot of work. The mental strain you have to go through to run a business is insane. So if your investors and your partners are not saying that, then you're probably in a bad business. Yeah, bad investment.
I was asking about the nose.
Another thing.
Oh, wow.
What drinks do you guys want?
I'm on water today, no sugar. So
I will have a Fanta.
we've done 1 episodes as of this one. And this is the second time I'm seeing Elson not touch the phone on an episode.
What are you lying?
The first episode was Mtali Mwanza episode. It should tell you how much attention Mtali grabs in Nelson's life.
Yeah.
Commands in Nelson's
Probably.
life.
Rodney?
Yeah, that one was by force.
Well, who forced me to do that?
The people around him.
Ain't nobody forced me to do shit.
So Rodney episode, Mtali Mwanza episode, and now Wallace means
He's doing something right.
we're doing something right.
Another
Thank
thing.
you.
God damn.
It's
Wait,
gone.
Wait, hold on. Shit, it's gonna come to me now. Good. So if you get an investor,
Yeah.
so you've got a business, bakery business, like Kalenga said, whatever business it is, and you're getting an investor, how much stake do you feel when you're working out? What models, if you're gonna get somebody to fund you, what model is the best? Is it equity? Is it loan? Is it revenue share? In your experience?
So equity is expensive. Let me start there. So if you're going to give out shares in your business, and I learned this the hard way too. If you're going to give any share in your business, even 1%, bro, that shit is expensive in the future.
How so?
Because the value of your company as you scale increases so fast that whatever you're selling, let's assume at 100 kwacha, now becomes 1,000 kwacha or 2,000 kwacha and so on. So you do not want to be trading your equity. And your equity is your exit. It's your exit.
Right.
Because the company will never pay you enough as a salary to cater for all the hard work you put
So all
in.
you have is your company.
All you have is that exit. That 10, 20, 100, no, not 100. 60, 50%, 40% to exit. So you say, I'm tired, I'm done with this shit, I'm selling it off.
Yeah.
That's the money you put in your pocket and you go live your life in Miami or whatever you like. Ibiza in this case. So,
Is that where you plan on going?
so, yes, I've got a plan. So equity, unless you have to, equity for founders is good. For founders and co-founders, because then you have this group of people that are invested in the vision. Okay.
That's what I was going.
Yeah. So you 3 guys or 4 guys, so you need to. There's some key areas you need in a business if you're getting founders. There's of course the CEO or the business developer. There's finance. There's tech, CTO.
COO.
And maybe human resource. So if you're able to get co-founders that probably play around these fields, it's also very easy for you to get funding. Because okay, the investors will look and say, okay, within this team that is invested in equity, that has stake in the business, at least I know that
They're playing major roles as well.
yeah. So my money is not at risk.
That was my next question, which is your tech.
Yeah.
It is cheaper to have your tech as giving equity to tech, because then they get to build the business or the platform, and not because you don't really have to pay them a ridiculous amount of money to develop it, right? Because they're part owners. What I wanted to, I keep stressing out. My point was more to the point of maybe holding on to equity is, you look at the world's richest person now, Elon Musk, is he owns only I think 7% of Tesla. So imagine if he had held on to as much as he could and didn't let people invest in his company. So I feel like it's better to own 1 or 2% of a 100 million or 100 kwacha business than 100% of
Nothing.
I mean, 100% of 0 is still 0.
Yeah.
right.
So and also now you have to look at the building the business that you're building. For example, the case of even that 6% or 7% is in billions. It's probably the biggest single individual that holds at stake. But also now look at what is building. The amount of money you need as an investment to build such a business is insane. So you either decide whether you're going to build a whole world or a whole universe of something and own 1% or 2% of it, or you decide to build something small and own majority of it. So it just depends on where you see yourself as an individual and the capacity for you to handle such growth. So if you decide I'm dedicating my life to building this business for the next 15 years, because big companies like Amazon and them, those guys have been building this businesses 15, 20 years. So you have to dedicate your life to that. For example, my contract with my company is for 14 years. So I've dedicated 14 years of my life to building what I'm building now. You get, regardless of whether it becomes the biggest company in Africa or the biggest, I don't want to say in Zambia, because of course we look at scaling to other markets, but that's also something you need to look at.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was talking about the nose because, we started off by talking about, how to source capital and all.
Yeah.
But then it may seem like a one-step journey. Like you're just going to go out into the market and start looking for capital and someone's going to give you. But then there's so many no's you're going to face.
Yeah.
How do you handle the no's, and how have you handled the no's in your life? Because I know so many people said no to you.
I mean, even now they do.
Yeah.
Even now
they still
do.
Yeah. you see
Even
what
now
I
they
mean?
do. I mean, we've gone through quite a number of no's. We still do.
Not too many women though, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Game. So we've gone through quite a number of no's. But at some point I became immune to this thing. Let me tell you, for you to run a business, you have to be a little bit insane.
Yeah, true.
You have to be a little bit crazy, because you can imagine everybody telling you no, and then you're trying to convince yourself that this shit is going to work. It's madness.
Yeah.
I've been in meetings where I'm sitting with my team. I mean, my team supports me quite a lot, yeah. But then the guys, you can clearly see, even if you're trying to tell them something, they think you're blowing smoke. You get, they're like, this shit won't work and so on. But you have to really be so stiff and believe in whatever you're trying to achieve, that any no that you hear, you're able to sleep and wake up the next morning as a different person. This shit will drain you. When I used to, initially when I used to get the no's, it would really frustrate me. I remember in my fun cargo at some point.
Where's this fun cargo, by the way?
I sold it for 15,000 kwacha.
Oh, really? Did you get rid of it?
Yeah.
You should have just given it to your driver. Remember the dude that used to just... Oh, was he?
He crashed it. That's why I sold it for 15 grand.
Asshole.
And he was drunk. Anyway,
when you used to run
I
around
remember
in
this
this
the
fun
time
cargo.
I went to pitch for a restaurant. And the restaurant, I think I told this story before. The restaurant told me, what do you think you will do with your 4 bikes for a big brand like this?
Wow.
And I vowed, I went and I parked under a tree and I started crying, and I vowed I would never do deliveries for fast food. And that's how I launched. That's how I just focused on fine dining restaurants, high-end restaurants and so on. Of course, eventually they came and...
Oh, they then came to you?
They came back and they're like, we can even do some co-marketing. And so I'm like, bro, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, I remember how this stuff used to drain me. Yeah? Can you imagine a grown-ass man somewhere parked by the roadside
In a fun
cargo, crying, and this fun cargo didn't even have tint.
So the people passing by thought, who died?
So the guy is like, this guy must be going through a lot.
I must have thought you had a petrol or something.
And even the guys that were saying no to me didn't have the guts to come. First, it's like me arranging for a meeting with the CEO of a company, and he sends me his marketing interns. Not the marketing person, the interns.
Interns. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they sat there and they crossed their legs and they're like, what do you think you'll do with one?
And this is an intern telling you this?
Yes.
Wow.
2 or 3 of them. And I paid for that coffee for their breakfast. Damn, they should pay me back.
Should have spilled in that coffee.
Yeah. Man, life. So the nose, and you know, the more you skill, the more the nose become heavier. But I'm like, and also now, I keep telling people it's good sometimes it's your own case study, proof of concept. It's you. So I did so much and I kept growing even with the nose and the nose and the nose that I got to a point where I started looking back and I'm like, okay, even with the nose, I've managed to make such milestones. So I started convincing myself and I'm like, you know what? Whatever I'm doing, something is working.
Yeah.
You understand? Something is working. So even if I get the nose now, there's something I'm doing right. When a customer wakes up in the morning and decides I'm going to use AfriDelivery today, every day, for 365 days. Is that the number of days you have in a year?
Yes, 365.
And a quarter.
A quarter, yeah.
In a leap year.
Then there's something
No.
you're doing right.
365 and a quarter is
Okay.
not on a leap year. Sorry.
Yeah, I just remembered.
Yeah. There's something you're doing right. So the nose, yeah. I mean, eventually they get to you get bad reviews and you're like, oh shit, I'm failing as a business. But if you go through, it's something you also have to master how to take in. But then, of course, there's those big no's that just drain you where you put in so much work and you've been chasing after one thing and 2-3 months later it fails. But you also need a very good support system.
I guess the only no that you have to respect is when you're having sex or when you're trying to.
Moving on.
Because that one will take you to jail. You'll be like, but Wallace told me to ignore it. No.
Wallace.
And the judge will be like, 20 years.
The last time we spoke, I think I was sharing with you this printing business that I was getting into.
Yeah.
And it started, by the way. We've got
Your phone's ringing.
Yeah, it is. It's my wife calling. I'll call her back in a bit.
No, why don't you answer now?
I will.
Are you scared?
I'll forget my
Why
line
is
of...
the same wife too? Oh, okay.
I said the same thing. Like, I said the same thing.
I'm
Like, how many wives have you got?
How many numbers does she
I'm
have?
like, yo.
You say wife two. Who's wife one? And is there a third one?
Wallace,
Yeah.
the last time we spoke, I was telling
So
you
why
about
don't you
this.
say wife MTN? Or why?
It's the way it's my phone. I can choose to save whatever I want.
Okay, and
However I want.
And it's our brain. We can choose to interpret it how we like.
You're welcome. So we're talking about this, and you gave me quite a number of ideas. So where that thing is right now, we've got quite a number of banks doing their work with us now. Yeah. But
I like that.
In terms of machinery, I am not where I'd love the company to be.
Okay.
So I think I was having this. I think I spoke to Elson about this a few weeks ago. I don't quite have the machinery I need.
Yeah.
And just taking a bit of a step back to the question Elson asked earlier. How can I raise money for this? If not with equity, which you said is a dangerous undertaking. Loan, how do I go about that? What's the third option you gave again? Those equity, loan, and
Revenue share.
Revenue share.
Loans are
how do I go about
loans
this?
are
and raise
dangerous because even if you don't make your money, you still
have to
it.
pay
You still have
back,
to pay back.
The best, what I would do, for example, what I did with my assets, I did a rev share.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, cool. Out of whatever 10 rides bike is doing, 10-20% of the revenue is yours until you're paid back. Don't make it open-ended. So you'll be like, okay, you give me.
So is that a loan now?
Give me. It's like a loan, but also the loan, you're not carrying too much risk.
Okay.
Because if you don't, a loan is fixed. Even whether you have business or not,
They have
there's
to
a
have to
fixed
pay
amount
back.
of money that you have to pay at the end
Yeah,
of the
true.
month.
Yeah.
But rev share, if you're having a bad month, it will not really affect you.
Because
So
whatever
you're
revenue,
sharing in the profits and the losses.
Exactly.
yes, whatever revenue that you're
Right.
making is
Is
what you
what
have to share.
they get the
after
percentage.
expenses, obviously.
Okay.
And that's
And there's a difference between revenue and profit share.
of course.
So revenue is the gross.
So revenue is top line. So your turnover. So if you're whatever you're charging for printing a flyer is maybe 100 kwacha, they'll get from 100 kwacha. Most people will always pick from top line because they don't know your cost. You might inflate your cost. And then the bottom line doesn't make sense to them. So they'll be like, okay, if you're pricing your product at 100 kwacha, add 20 kwacha. That's how, whatever. That's what we're getting.
right.
Because they don't want to really get involved in your business like that too. It's
So
a
can I-
headache for them.
Can I approach you with that tomorrow?
It depends on the value, the cost of the value of the machine that you're buying. But we can always. I've got people that do that.
Okay.
I don't have to do it myself. I got people
Right.
that come to me and tell me I've got this, and it's not a much. I don't mind. Same thing I told him. I don't mind pushing that down to my friends and my connections and my. That's the only way Africa will grow.
So I can give you a call tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let me tell you the craziest thing. I went to a bank when I was trying to raise capital. I went to a bank and so they give you different types of options of how you can access money. And each option has got obviously like different interest rates.
Yeah.
And they only speak about security like right at the end when it gets to credit. So I wasn't looking for much, right? And so everything looks good. The business model looks good. They were going to get money from the deliverables. And so it gets to security and they say, so do you have any? Right? I said, yes, I do. Now I'm going to show you something which is crazy. I said, yes, I have security. And they said, okay, fine. Is it in your name? And can we see the value, et cetera, et cetera? Now let me show you this. So this was done by Pam Golding. Take a look at the value on that.
This is value of
It's property.
property.
Okay.
Is it reflective
I
of
know
the
the
true
bank
value
will
of
only
the
fund
property?
25% of this, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can say the value. I'll explain some just now.
Okay.
Right.
Can I say
Yeah,
that?
sure. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The value of the property.
Yeah.
Okay. So the property is valued at 420,000. Am I reading the right value here?
Yes.
It's the one. 420,000 US dollars.
Correct.
Okay. All right, cool.
They said no to it. I was asking for 2 million kwacha. What's 420,000 US dollars?
That's about 4 million kwacha, right?
I was looking for 2 million kwacha. And they said no to it. You know why? Can I have the phone? Wallace?
Oh.
And they said no. You know why? Right. Because this is just land.
It has to be landed property, right?
There you go. They said there has to be a structure on it.
Yeah.
And so, despite you having value, which is nearly $500,000 US dollars, you are still not able to get 2 million kwacha
Until there's brick and mortar. on that
until
land.
there's brick and mortar on it.
And they only fund 25% of now
Of the
the
value.
value of. They don't carry banks don't carry any risk. That's
Yeah, because I mean, when you don't pay back, they have to come make a huge profit off your land,
they don't
your
carry any
property,
risk.
right?
I think they give you the difference, but I mean, they're selling it at whatever price.
Did you ever consider a bank when you were starting your business?
No.
That was a quick never.
I've never considered a bank as well, eh?
First of all, why would I? Okay, so now I do some business with more or less like a bank.
Yeah.
But it's because my business now was ready to get to that point. But also now, banks, first of all, are not meant for SMEs. Forget about that. Banks are not meant for SMEs. Banks are meant for these big guys. Because if you think you're going to borrow, unless you're salaried, then your salary is not enough to fund your business. And also that's a risk. But I never considered banks. Because there's so much funding out here, even grants and so on and so forth, that it's easy, especially for Africa, that it's easier for you to just get capital from that. And also now you also need equity investors. Yeah, you need people that will come and help you build the business. So not only someone that just gives you money and tells you, okay, F off.
Pay us back in 3 years.
Yeah, you need someone that will come and say, okay, I don't think financially we're doing well. Let's come up with a good financial model. I don't think our tech is, let's build proper tech. People need to really figure out, and that's how you see that some of these companies abroad are beating us, because their funding structure is very good. They've got founder, co-founder, maybe 3 co-founders. One of them is very good in tech. Another guy is also very good in finances. Also, the guy is in charge of fundraising. And now there's the guy that's driving the business, always the face of the company, pushing it. I came to know this way later. But
after he had messed up enough times.
Exactly. And I'm still correcting those mistakes. But now I know. So even for me to start of course I still do have fuck-ups every now and then. But I learn quick. You need to learn how to fail fast and get up fast and keep moving.
Right.
So it's not like where initially I would take years trying to figure shit out. Now, 2-3 months, I don't see this not working. Jump up and keep going.
I don't know if we've covered this, but when are you able to tell when investment or capital is wrong?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Yeah.
First of all, you need to follow your gut. People underestimate the power of the gut. Like a feeling should tell you that this is, and also something, the problem is entrepreneurs are so desperate. They don't even consider.
Exactly. Right.
We don't even consider doing due diligence on our investors. Bro, now you're facing a risk of investors that are just fishing for your data. Because if an investor comes and tells you, okay, I'm going to do due diligence on you for 6 months, not 6 months, let's say 90 days, 3 months, and you're giving these guys access to every single thing that you do, every single thing that you know, your model, your plans, your staffing plans, everything. These guys have this information. So how do you know that this is the right investor for me? Especially institutional investors.
Yeah.
Institutional investors are big investors. Individual investors, or maybe your family members and your friends, are probably people you can just start with, people you can trust. So that you're not in a desperate position to just pick anything that comes your way. And also you dilute to ridiculous amounts where you lose control of your company, which is still quite young. And also now when the company is big, you don't even have enough shareholding to vote in the company. And you just end up being frustrated.
Yeah.
You get, so yeah. I think I lost my train of thought there, but we can
but
be distracted.
That makes a lot of sense. Allegedly, there's quite a number of companies that do that, where you give them access to so much of your business to a point where they don't need you anymore because they can replicate and do exactly the same thing. In my journey with what I'm doing, I think I told you this story where I met somebody.
Yeah.
This is arguably one of Africa's richest people. Through his kids, they wanted to invest in my company. And so I told them what the business plan was. They ran a due diligence on me and my business, and they went to the company that I had partnered with. And they said, you guys have got the contract. We have the money. What do we need Elson for?
Yeah. As business.
I think I told you about this. I told you about this,
story,
right?
yeah.
And it just so happened that this company has integrity. They called me right after and said, well, the people that you spoke to just left our office, and in all terms and purposes, they wanted to cut you out of the equation. Yeah. And they told them that, listen, there's a binding contract. And if you want to be part of this business, you have to partner with that person because we can't cancel the contract. Yeah. So that's the only way you can be part of this. So I then realized, and even though they started calling me a lot more times after that, I ended up not going with them. I then realized that not all money is good money.
They're sharks.
They're sharks.
They're just sharks. Yeah.
The minute that somebody shows you who they are, believe them. They're gonna try and F you down the road.
You spoke about something that I think really pops up in Zambian conversations when it comes to business. You talk about following your gut, and how entrepreneurs, rush for stuff. But I'll come to that a little bit later. Following your gut, and this is something I hear mostly in American entrepreneurs. Yeah. And speaking of American entrepreneurs, there's things that they speak about that we never hear in this country that they apply in their businesses. Talk about things like meditation, the law of attraction. What are your thoughts in line with these things that we only hear in America, especially when it comes to law of attraction, your belief in the business, vibrations, and things like that?
I practice some of them. Like
Great.
I do meditation every morning.
Okay.
And I tell people this and they laugh.
Because I do the same. And funny, I spoke to Elson about this and he does the same. Like, oh, wow. This is rare in this country, man. In Africa especially.
Which is what?
Meditation and things like that. Law of attraction, vibrations. These are things you only hear with American entrepreneurs. But I'm glad he does the same. Yeah.
But I'm also a practical guy. I do the job. Like I wake up and I grind. And the universe has a way of working for you. I mean, if you do whatever you're supposed to do, everything else automatically just falls into place.
Right.
Regardless of whether you fail the first time and so on, the universe will work. I mean, it will work for you. But I believe, so most of the other things you mentioned about, especially things like meditation and so on, it's probably for your whole mental being. Because you go mad doing this entrepreneurship stuff.
Yep.
People underestimate, and one thing I should mention to people is stop glorifying entrepreneurship. This shit is not for everyone. It is not for everyone.
I say this. Are we friends on Facebook?
Coin can relate.
Yeah.
How people glorify entrepreneurship. And then when
Stop
you get into
glorifying
it,
that shit.
Don't.
This shit is not what you think it is. Just because you put yourself as this founder and the CEO on Instagram,
And
it
your
is
business-
not.
no.
Wait until you've got 1, 2, 3, 40, 30, 40, 50, 60 people to pay at the end of the month. Then, my friends,
you can glorify.
we can have honest conversations.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's times when you go through rough patches as an entrepreneur, and you really feel like getting back into employment.
Yeah, and
we spoke about this last week.
I sent him a screenshot
Yeah.
of people literally threatening me because salaries were late, and you were getting calls the other time that we were shooting the Brian Chanda episode of 1 or 2 of your employees coming to work. Hi.
That's no. This thing people talk about. Come on, stop it. People need to stop and understand.
Quit your job today, motivation speakers.
Do not
Follow your dreams.
If you can't, do not. Let me tell you, because first of all, you will cry.
Yeah.
You will cry. You get headaches. You will lose your mind. And
That's where meditation comes.
yeah, you will lose your mind. And it takes a lot of. For example, like today when I woke up in the morning, I told my team, today is Monday. It's nuts for me. It's crazy. I wake up in the morning. There's like a list of payables waiting for me at 7 in the morning. And I told my team at work, I told them I've got an interview today. I need my mind to be fresh. So filter all the bullshit until tomorrow morning. So if anything, unless someone is getting a heart attack at the office, I'll wait until tomorrow, then I'll check into the office and deal with issues. Because if you're not able, and also now the goodness is that I've got a team that is able to do that.
Right.
But entrepreneurship is rough.
It's crazy, man.
It's rough.
It's insane.
Bootstrapping. Let's talk about bootstrapping, especially in the early days of your business.
What is bootstrapping, sir?
Bootstrapping. I like how you look at me like I will not know what the hell it is.
No, I know you do. But I know not everybody that is listening
Our
does.
college dropout friends, yeah. Basically, we're working on a shoestring.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're starting your business. You don't have much in terms of capital and you're trying to put together a good team. So how do you then bootstrap? How did you go around? How do you navigate your way around bootstrapping when you're starting
Sell your store.
First of all, bootstrapping is very good because you learn. I mean, having money when you're starting a business is a good thing, yes, but it's also not a good thing because you pay yourself through everything.
Yeah.
You end up paying for design $5,000 for designers that you could just get for free. And also some of these things you need to learn how to do it yourself. You need to understand your business. You as the founder of the business should know your business more than anybody else in that building.
Every part of the supply chain. Yeah.
100%. So bootstrapping is, how do you go about it? So I build my business as a traditional supermarket. You make whatever you make, you invest right in the business. That's why I didn't buy a new couch.
Or a new car.
Or a new car.
That's why the fun car lasted.
At some point, it had so much smoke. I was wondering, it's like the car was on fire. But anyway, Yeah, so you basically invest every little dime that you make back into your business. Yeah, basically that's bootstrapping. You just use everything that you have to keep the business going. Before you start getting investors now, investors is like getting married. If you have an investor, that's a marriage, man. You guys wake up, talk to each other every day. You have to be very aligned when it comes to vision. And the worst thing you can ever do is not be aligned with your partners or your investors. It's a nightmare. So, and I advise people, man, if you can bootstrap, do it. It's not a bad thing because that's the only thing you learn about your business. Because what happens is later in the future, you now get into the big boys league now where you're dealing with crazy competition. And in many cases, you if you don't understand your business, chances are very high that you get knocked down because you can't innovate, you can't scale, you can't do much. You don't understand your customers. I mean, you need to go on a journey. This is like a spiritual journey. You have to go for like 2-3 years. Give yourself 3 years if you can, and just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that 3 years, when do you then start getting people that, like we're talking about the bootstrapping stage, you're working on shoestring budgets. When then do you start getting qualified people to help you grow the vision?
You can always bring them as you start as co-founders.
Oh, right there.
Yeah. All of you are bootstrapping, sleeping on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we did. We still bootstrap up to this day. We still bootstrap. I tried that funding, for institutional funding, but I mean, I felt like I wasn't ready for that personally. I still prefer family and friends. And I'm trying to really give Africans an opportunity to invest in African businesses. So I'm trying to approach Africans and educate them about investing in their startups, their companies, instead of them just putting investment in just this normal stuff.
Yeah.
And tech is very hard because it's not something tangible. You try to convince an investor to invest in you, like your auntie who's like 60-something. She's got a shitload of money, but it still doesn't register in her mind. So I'm trying to do that at the moment. It's working well. So far so good. But yeah.
And then a lot of us feel we know a lot because we read a few books or we have experience maybe from our previous employer and stuff. You're a guy who I think we can safely say is running a successful business, but at this point in your business,
and I haven't read much. Huh?
Serious?
I won't lie to people that I read books. I'm not saying you don't read, but me, I don't.
But do you have advisors though?
Yeah, of course.
Who holds you to account?
First of all, my people that hold me to account. First of all, my team.
Okay.
Because don't forget, when you started this stuff, you sold a dream to people. You have to realize this dream. People are waiting on you to. Whatever you said you will get to, you need to get there. So when you wake up in the morning, you see those guys putting in work. I saw the other day, one of my guys, I gave him an assignment. And that guy slept in the office. I didn't even know. I came in the morning and I asked him, how did you get here so fast? And someone told me that they slept at the office. I'm like, what? So you can imagine me now, how I felt about that. Because that guy, because it didn't have a timeline that he has to finish it. He had like 2-3 days to finish that job. But he did it in 24 hours. So yeah, number one, you have your team that you promised this dream. You have to make sure it comes to fruition. Number two, of course, now you've got professional advisors, finance people, your mentors and so on and so forth. Yeah, and also, but I also look at, I let life teach me. Like I learn a lot from the mistakes I made. Life is not as complicated as people make it to be, especially in business.
Yeah.
In many cases, when you make a mistake, chances are higher that you probably will make the same mistake on a higher level in the future. So in many cases, all you have to do is just look back at yourself. What mistakes did you make at a lower level and say, you know what, I don't want to mess up like this when I'm running a $10-15 million business.
Yeah.
If I can correct this, then I'm probably in a better place. And that's the only way I've learned whatever I've learned now. It's not like I just took a bunch of books and started going through page by page. No.
That's what he does.
He reads. if you're running a business in Africa, you're lucky.
Right.
You're very lucky because that's you need to take that as cool. That's an opportunity for you to learn as much as you can. Or if you're working at a small business that allows you to do many things, use that as a practical example on how to learn.
It's your college.
It's your college,
so to speak. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. All these books you're reading, I'm not saying books are bad. I don't want people to get me wrong. Books are good. But be very practical.
Care for the kind of books I pick out as well, because there are some that are not very practical, especially written by motivation speakers. Not very practical.
I hate motivational speakers.
They're just telling you to jump from this to this by believing in yourself. But there's one book in particular, especially young entrepreneur should read. The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. Oof, that book, man.
What's it called?
The E-Myth. The E basically standing for entrepreneurship, the entrepreneurship myth.
Oh, the myth.
Yeah, the E-Myth. So I know you were talking about how entrepreneurship is glorified. He starts by talking about that as well. But then he talks about how to scale a business by following the McDonald's model. Yeah. McDonald's, the way, what's his name was started again? Whatever his name was, it's gone. The way he scaled it and how he created systems to grow the business is how he advises every business to grow.
Yeah.
Creating systems. And he breaks it down so well. He actually uses an example of a very small restaurant in New York. And when you read that book, you actually see how every business can grow in the same way. And what you've described here is what's exactly in that book.
Yeah.
So I read such books.
Yeah, I mean, for example, like what he's mentioning, like when I told you we're building the ecosystem, our job the last maybe 4 or 5 years has just been building stuff to handle capacity of what's coming in the future.
Right.
Because now we're getting people coming to us and saying, okay, can we do API integrations for last mile delivery? So for you to be able to do that, you need those systems in place.
Yeah.
And I believe if your intention is to scale a big business, then systems are the way. Yeah.
How much of customer facing work do you still do?
None. Like when you mean customers, like dealing with customers?
Well, customers or B2B, do you still do this? Because I know you've got an MD.
I do it indirectly. But I also do it directly sometimes because everywhere I go, if I say, okay, my name is Wallace and AfriDelivery, everybody has something to say about it.
Yeah.
They'll be like, on this day 2 years ago, I ordered something.
Yeah, it didn't arrive.
Yeah, of course. And by default, I'm still doing it. But also, I understand I'm not a one-man show, yeah?
Yeah, of course.
So my job is now I do respond to customers incognito, like social media, like our in-app chats and so on. I respond and so on, and it shows Wallace. I experience customers' journeys and frustrations on a daily basis because I pay a lot of attention to the small details, like how they're communicating with my call center agents. Actually, I used to receive that in real time, but it became too much of a distraction, so I removed it. But I still do quite a lot of it. I intend on doing it a little bit more, but on a higher scale. So, like partnerships on B2B level, but also just helping businesses digitize. But when it comes to the nitty-gritties, I can see it and I can call it out, but I don't deal with it as much as I used to.
Because I remember, the downside about knowing a lot about the person that you're sitting down with, and this is why I prefer whatever guest that we do, Kalinga knows about them and I don't really know fuck all about them, is I don't know what to share and what I shouldn't. So whatever,
share, man, doesn't matter.
So whatever we edit out, because I remember, this is a story more for Kalinga. I remember when and we spoke about this early on in the first interview, how you'd get quite a lot of no's from some of the partnerships that you wanted to do for various reasons. You're a person who's got tattoos on tattoos. And I remember when you did your partnership with Lafarge. Yeah. I don't know if it was you that initiated the conversation, but it got to contract signing level. And they said, we want to do it with the person that owns the company. And that's when you walked in and these people were like, the fuck? No, we said the owner of the company.
It wasn't them.
Oh, it wasn't them?
No, it wasn't them. But I've had this issue where
until you start talking.
Yeah. I mean, I've had, and It's also something we struggle with as young entrepreneurs.
Your hair doesn't help.
Your hair doesn't. Yeah, your hair looks like this. And
It's not a good look for somebody who's leading the company.
And I noticed. Let me tell you, I feel like my brand grew a lot during COVID,
Right.
Because we used to have face-to-face meetings, so I just log in,
Yeah.
on Zoom, and I'll talk, and I had substance. And it's, even me myself, I never knew I had some substance until I started attending these meetings, and they started making sense and so on. Because I was always conscious about my image. I don't want to cut. Okay, my hair was short, but I'm not going to do anything about it. I love them. But I always wanted people to see the substance. Now they can see because the brand is bigger than me.
Right.
You get, so as long as the brand is coming in, most of them really don't care how I look like. But it's a struggle that I know most people go through here, and yeah, they still insist. Okay, and even at, like we were talking about last time, how we had to hire someone of a certain color just to close a few deals.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. I believe it's a mentality it's a backward mentality, but it's there, unfortunately, and that's why it's very hard for young people trying to make it here. And I almost became a trap of that, because I noticed that a lot of young people used to come to me now, and they'll be like, "Oh, how did you do this?" And I started looking at them a certain way, and then I had to go back and remind myself, you know what? I don't want to be in a position where now I'm doing the same. I'm subjecting the guys now to the same shit I went through. Because you can see people coming to our office, zero clue about what they're talking about. But this is just someone that has interest, and it's just one of those. That's why platforms like this are important.
True.
Because you get to communicate to these guys and tell them these things are not unique to you. They're normal. They happen.
Yeah.
So at least you can encourage them. I've done mentorship sessions where I drop halfway. I'm like, I'm bored, I'm tired. But I remember at some point someone gave me a chance to, and I'm like, you know what? Let's keep going.
How do you? I know I'm sort of like bringing you back to something you've already
That's
covered.
fine.
How do you manage? And this is possibly a question for you as well, because you're an entrepreneur and you're married. I'm not sure if you're dating, but how do you manage to separate your work from your personal life? Because if you're an entrepreneur, whatever it is that you are doing is part of you. You do not have, it's 5 p.m., work stops, I'm going to go home. There's certain frustrations that come, an investor pulls out, people at work fuck up, or whatever the case happens. And how do you manage to separate that from who you are or what you are at home?
Should I go first, or are you going to go first?
Go first, bro.
So how do I do it? First of all, I still face challenges doing that now. I try to create a balance, but I leave. I physically leave the office, the country, the whole thing, and I'm done. I'm gone. But now I'm trying to. I mean, I notice I can just keep leaving all the time. So, so at some point I have to stay and just deal with this. But I've started now just closing my laptop when I don't feel like dealing with something.
So mentally you switch off?
Mentally I switch off, but unfortunately you still have that, like, you still know that something is going on. But also now, it's also good because now that's you now empowering people under you and you show them you trust them to deal with shit. And if it goes wrong, it goes wrong. You correct them. If they fuck up again, then probably have the wrong people. But personally, I'm working on it. The problem is I have guests in my house every now and then. Like from come visiting me from different places of the world, and I use it as a distraction because then when I leave the office and I go home, I'm not doing work stuff. I'm probably just doing other stuff. I can watch movies. I can do these other things.
Do you still smoke?
No.
Okay.
Maybe when I go out, you mean shisha?
Yeah, shisha.
When I go out, but even that I'm stopping soon. But I used to do it I stopped. That shit was a bad habit.
And I did tell you who introduced
Remember
me to shisha, right?
I went out with somebody and they told me that was ghetto.
What, shisha was ghetto?
Yeah, in Zim. I'm like, oh, and they started analyzing how people are using these pipes. I was like, God damn.
Is that why you got yourself a white friend?
Which white friend?
I don't know. The guy from Germany, I think.
That's my partner. That's my developer.
Oh, is that your developer?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He's my buddy. I'm his best friends.
Yeah.
I don't know why I sensed a pinch of jealousy from Elson. Like, oh, you now have a white friend. Like,
like
we used to be buddies. We used to be housemates. And
You replaced me. Is it because I was black?
Value.
Is it because it's black?
Look for value.
It says value.
Value.
I
And
didn't
that
bring
says a lot
enough.
about exactly. It says a lot about you, bro.
Value. I told my team, hang out with different people in 2023. And I'm setting an example.
He got a white friend from Germany.
No, he's been a partner for like 10 years plus.
Oh, great.
Okay.
That's the guy that called.
And yourself? Same question.
What was the question again? How do I?
You know, you should listen into the show. It's a very fun show. Here and there. You should listen.
Family and business.
Yeah. How do you separate it? Because I can't.
You can't. And it's
At this point, I think all the businesses I'm doing now are also family businesses. So especially the radio stations, my wife is handling more of those because, like Wallace said earlier, when you're starting a business, you need to know every part of the supply chain of your company. So for the first 3 years, you are the CEO, you're the accountant, you're the marketing manager, you're the head of marketing, you're the COO, you're the whatever. And pretty much the first 3 years of the radio stations, I pretty much was that, especially the first 2 years. And then I started teaching my wife most parts of the business. So she's handling most of that as I'm now trying to focus on the printing thing. So at this point in our business lives, and all of our businesses are still in their infancy. So it's one thing, to be honest, right now.
What do you mean it's one thing?
Like family and business.
Is that safe though?
Is
That's
what?
the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like it's still in its infancy. We haven't yet started, bringing
Yeah,
in
but
more
you still
people
haven't
to-
answered my question. You said
What was the question again?
okay, so
Yeah.
back to when your business was, you were the CEO, you were the accountant,
Everything,
and everything.
yeah.
How then did you handle it when there was work pressure,
And
then
home
you come
pressure.
home? And the kids need attention, the kids need homework, and here you are. You have got bills on bills.
Yeah.
You have got wherever you get your license. I don't know.
IBA want their license
still
fees.
owe the money.
Zicta want their license fees.
Exactly.
ZRA wants their taxes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The wife at home needs attention. The kids need your attention. How do you separate the two?
And I'll be very, this is an honest platform, and I'm very honest with you guys. From the time the radio station started to about 2.5 years into that, family life was really affected. And you start hearing words like, you don't give us attention anymore. It's like, all
Right.
you care about is this thing. But then you're
Right.
looking at the vision, like, you know what? To grow this thing, I need to give it as much attention as possible.
Right.
And then the home needs attention as well.
Right.
Your wife feels like you're not giving any more attention. And I've had
And
this.
you're just one person.
You're just one person. And I've had this conversation with a lot of entrepreneurs and we all sort of come up with the same conclusion. Your significant other in the home starts feeling like there's somebody else in your life.
Yeah.
That happens a lot to us entrepreneurs. You have to spend late nights at the office to make sure, you're putting systems in place. There's employees that you need to teach certain things. So you're spending more time at the office than you are at home. And like
Right.
I said, your business is in its infancy. So you're spending less time at home. How to deal with that, bro? It's difficult.
Can you recover?
It's difficult.
I personally feel, and I make this very clear. If there's anybody in my life, even my family knows, that unfortunately for now, it's very hard for me to separate the two. So you have to find a way to be part of whatever I'm doing. Because if you expect me to just switch off whatever I've built for 7 months,
It's
7 years,
going to be impossible.
it's in me. It's part of me now.
That's my point.
And in my
The
opinion,
risk is too high. So
work-life balance, I think, is a myth.
it doesn't. It also depends on because you really can try and separate by theory, but it's impossible. I can't just wake up and say, okay, today I'm not going to check on how AfriDelivery
100% attention at home
Supermarket
today.
is doing.
there you go.
It's impossible. And anybody that thinks this is the future candidates, the thing that you can come and unfortunately at some point I'll be able to separate it. This is my purpose. This is what I've picked as my purpose. Okay? And I can feel it deep inside me.
100.
So it will come first. Okay. It doesn't mean that I will not pay attention to you.
Yes.
It will come first. Okay. And then of course eventually it will mature to a place where now I'm probably not needed. But for now, do not come and act as a distraction to what I'm doing because you will lose.
That is a very difficult
that.
concept to explain to an African wife.
I see that as a nugget. He
Yeah.
says, do not come and act as a distraction to what I'm doing because you're going to lose.
Yeah, true. Because, as the vision carrier of the company, especially when it's starting out, in your mind, you've set out the next 5 years to grow this thing, 5, 7, 14 years in his case. And for us, like especially us married guys with kids, you're thinking, let me grow this to this level because it's for them. You know what I mean?
Right.
But they don't see
They
it
don't
that
buy
way.
into it.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
As far as they're concerned, there's just no attention in the home.
And this is possibly why, maybe in your case, and with most successful entrepreneurs, they had a supporting partner. When we were listening to the Strive Masiwa thing, he was asked, did you ever think about giving up on Econet? And he said, yes, once. He was asked, why? And he said, because Tsitsi, his wife, had decided she was going to give up. Then he was asked, and so why then did you continue? Then he answered, because she then decided she wasn't going to give up. So in most cases, if you do have a partner, that is also a reason why you most likely would be successful, is because she also buys into your business. And when you come home and you're stressed and everything that you've just mentioned, she, sort of gives you that reassurance. So if you've got a supporting partner or not, could also be a reason why either that marriage fails or your business fails.
Exactly.
It's sort of different in yours, in my case, because I don't have that. I come home to my cockroaches. You know what I mean? And
your dogs.
yeah, and they're pissed off like, nigga, there's no food in this house.
Why are you coming back home late?
We are cockroaches for a reason. Is because we are supposed to feed off
Your
crumbs.
crumbs.
There's none of that here.
Wallace, I really like that I'm in a room full of entrepreneurs. There's
Coin.
Coin there, there's Nurbert, there's...
Coin, do you want to yell up? Do you want to yell what's up?
Or you can just say... "Pa, pa, pa, pa." And I bring up the issue of...
One day, Coin, you're going to be in front of cameras.
One day.
There you go. Thank you, my guy. Thank you. Now that's
Thanks a
Coin.
lot, Dennis.
Thanks a lot, Dennis. Now that's Coin. Finally.
we get so many people asking us who Coin is. I was talking about we're in a room full of entrepreneurs, and of course, our visions are bigger than, of course, where we start from.
Yeah.
We're all thinking of dominating our neighborhoods, dominating our countries, dominating the continent. Can Africa buy into Africa? And what are the restrictions you are facing as AfriDelivery when it comes to growth into the rest of Africa?
I don't even think it's about. First of all, to answer your first question, can Africans buy into? Yes, they can. The young.
How can Africa do
Gen
business
Z,
with Africa?
I think they're starting to accept more African products, African stuff, African clothing.
African music is now,
African music. Yeah, African music is huge.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're in the right, on the right track. But of course, I mean, public studies shows that African businesses to scale out of Africa, it's quite hard. Okay, it's quite hard. And also now, I mean, even if I asked you, how many African companies do you know that say, okay, I've got plans to scale to New York, I've got plans
Dubai.
to scale to Dubai and all these other places. Because also now, I mean, it starts with the mind. I mean, we're like, okay, I just want to do well for myself and my family.
Yeah.
And I just want to have a loose $1,000, $2,000 in the pocket every month, and I'll be good. That's why I keep saying this is a mission. This is a mission. It's like, bro, you dedicate your life to this.
True.
If you're going to build, I think that's AfriDelivery. If you're going to build a unicorn out of Africa, it takes everybody.
The whole village.
Everybody. You see the same way Flutterwave did it. It takes everyone. But also now there's a question I have, and I'll challenge people that are watching this and probably have more information. Please. So I've got hi.
Our
you doing?
chicken is here.
Hey, please
Are you the
bring
one
it
making the
through.
delivery? What's your name? Huh? Oh, it's you. Nice to meet you, man.
Oh, you don't know the people that?
No, I can't know all this.
So you can just bump
My name
into
is
him.
Wallace. I'm the founder.
Do you know
and the
this
CEO
guy?
of
Do you know
AfriDelivery.
this guy? It's your first time meeting him.
This company is big, bro.
Are you serious? Well, how long have you been working for AfriDelivery?
When did you
Just
join?
joined the company.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Wait, so who hired you? Mr. Who?
Who's that? Elias.
Do you know who that is?
Wow.
Who's that? Anyway, it's fine. Nice to meet you.
Do you know this guy? I know him now. Who do you know him
I
as?
know him now. Wow.
Yeah, and do you know what he does there?
He's a big boss. At least
Also,
people-
did his name come up in the interview or any of your discussions?
Actually, his name usually comes
when you're doing the transactions.
When it's time for the money.
Wow.
Nice to meet you, man. You're doing a good job. All right.
And he made it. Before
Did these guys give you a tip? Who has cash here? Give me cash. I need to tip this gentleman. Give me cash, man. Whoever has a...
Are you gonna expose how broke we are?
Give it to him. Here. Please pass it to him.
a whole 100 kwacha tip, this guy.
Good job, yeah? Don't share that with anybody else. Cool. All right, cheers.
All right, cheers, man.
Wallace, I think the question should be, how can Africa do business with Africa? Like, what restrictions are preventing and stopping us from scaling?
Okay, sorry, go ahead. Man,
From scale, like what's restricting AfriDelivery?
Coming back.
How can Africa do business with Africa? What restrictions are preventing AfriDelivery from scaling throughout Africa?
We need to invest in ourselves. I shouldn't be having to go to America to look for investors, man. It's ridiculous because investors feel safe where they are. So an investor will come and tell me, okay, for me to invest in your business, first of all, you have to make sure that the majority of the ownership of this business is held where I feel it's safe, which is in my country. So, for example, if I'm looking for money from Europe, that automatically becomes a European company.
Right.
The minute the majority of the shareholding is held by an entity that's outside your country, that is not an African company anymore. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Yeah. And now, so what happens to the African companies? That's my biggest question. This is something I'm starting to learn. Because you say, okay, the regulations there are better. How do you mean the regulations there are better? Because, for example, if I wanted to have Zicta change something, it's easy for me to call for a meeting with Zicta.
I mean, the right...
it's easy for me to say, okay, I think in the next 5 years, this market is looking to grow by this percentage. And I think we can set certain regulations that allow
restriction we're having.
In America, who am I going to call?
Joe Biden?
For a regulation,
Who are you?
For a regulation change. Who are you? So that means you're becoming part of a set of rules that were already set probably 200 years ago. But you've got an opportunity of setting your own rules today where you are and empowering people around you as they follow those rules. So I've got certain reservations about. That's why I'm when it comes to institutional funding, I'm play around safe. But and of course, many people will never agree with me on this because all of us want that funding of XYZ and scaling to this, I mean, it's a bubble, but I understand. If Africans invest in themselves, because we've got so much in Africa and we've got so much of money just sitting on in bank accounts, not doing fuck all with it. Yeah. You really need to learn how to invest in Africa and in Africans. That's the only way we will grow. For me, like I mentioned, Zambia is a very good, people underestimate Zambia. It's a good place to do business because if I look at the access I have just to authority, if I don't like something, I can walk into the minister's office and say, excuse me, Honorable, is there a possibility of us sitting and discussing this and this and this and this? Then you've got an opportunity of building something. You get? Yeah. So I think if Africans live in Africa, I mean, we've got the population. If someone like Burna Boy is jumping on private jets every now and then, why
you know
can't
what I
we?
mean? Black coffee is always in
He's
Europe.
selling out. What do you call this?
The
in
stadium.
Netherlands.
And Beyonce failed.
And Beyonce failed. I was about to bring that up. And you heard how the other time when he had a concert in Canada on the exact same day as Drake and Lil Wayne, he sold out and his venue had more people than Drake and Lil Wayne in Canada.
Afrobeats is king now.
Yeah, either that or there's more Nigerians in Canada than Canadians.
Either that. Yeah, true.
We were saying something for you.
No, man, I was just like impressed by how you've got systems in place where you can own a company, but the people that work for your company don't know who the fuck you are.
I stop these guys all the time to introduce myself.
Because I remember when I was reading up on Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
He would actually meet his employees in an elevator and would get to know who the fuck they are. And he's actually even fired a couple of people in an elevator. Like, what do you do here?
But I've started something. Actually, Richard taught me how to. I've started sending videos
Of yourself?
in the group. So I'll record myself. I'll be like, this week we're doing this. And I send it to the group. So at least if people want to know Because if I lie that I'll meet nowadays, I mean, there's even remote hiring where you just onboard a rider.
I'm copying that. Thanks a lot, Richard.
Yeah,
Sending videos in the company
send
WhatsApp
videos,
group.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the people. I mean, the authority. People really need to see and feel the authority in the business. And
true.
also now, people underestimate the power of leadership when things are going wrong. When things are going wrong is because people can tell a mood in a business, and not every day things are going right.
Right.
So you need to be able to show guys that you're present, and it's hard. It's hard, but people need to see that, you know what, if my boss really thinks that we have this in check, then we actually maybe really do.
Yeah.
And I'm learning to do that, and I keep doing it. And yeah,
It's actually, I've actually copied that right. I'm starting that tomorrow.
please
Sending
send
videos.
videos. Don't assume that everybody knows you or that everybody knows your vision.
My
You
9
came to-
employees.
Yeah, you came to our office and you've seen how we've drawn stuff on the walls. Like my whole vision for the next 10 years is on the walls.
Wow.
Because when the employees come, I want them to know, okay, we started, there's a tree that shows all the brands we admire, the brand we want to be like. There's a tree that shows how myself and Jens build it. There's another, all these graphics, shows Jens and I build the app sitting in a restaurant.
Isn't it the guy from Spain?
Germany. Jens, yeah.
You know Spain?
I know Spain. I know Spain. I know of Spain.
You know the owner is called Jens as well?
Oh, cool. Awesome. Nice to meet you, Jens.
Not the same guy.
No, definitely not.
Okay, cool.
Anyway, the
So
wall.
it shows how we've sat in a restaurant, just myself and Jens, every month for like 4 or 5 months, coding AfriDelivery. And we used to have the same thing for lunch, chips and a beer. And we used to go to this restaurant because they had good Wi-Fi until they shut down. And then it shows how we started with 2 bikes. We paid half for those bikes. And then it shows how we went to 3-wheelers, how we went to trucks. And then it shows how we got to 250,000 users. It shows how we won 5 trophies. We recently won another trophy, by the way, for e-commerce app of the year. Right?
Congratulations.
Tech Trends. Thank you. Shout out. Then it shows how eventually we want to do planes, we want to do drones. It shows how we want to take the rest of Africa. I mean, all this is engraved in the minds of
Every employee.
Everybody looks at that and they're like, this is the vision. Even when you move from the small office to the other side, the small office also had the same.
Yeah.
It's important that people have it here.
That's true, man. I'm glad you brought up the issue of Steve Jobs. Reminds me of something, and I want to find out if you sort of do the same. Yeah. Well, you sort of do. You mentioned that earlier. Have you read the story of AirDrop and how Steve Jobs came up with AirDrop? So Steve Jobs, whenever they have a new product on the market, be it the iPad, the latest iPhone on the market or whatever, he would usually sit across the road when they open the stores. Now people start shopping for this new product, and he would observe how people are handling their products, or he would walk in, disguised a little bit, and he would start interacting with people buying the gadgets, and he would get instant feedback from people. And one lady, she was buying the latest iPhone then. I think it's like 2010, 11, somewhere there. When did he die? 2014,
no idea.
Yeah.
Right there.
She told him, he asked her what problem she's having with iPhones. And she says, I can't seem to share photos with my kids, my grandkids in the house. I've got a problem of using these apps and whatever. So for him, an idea sparked there, and he created AirDrop.
Awesome.
Which I can share stuff. For those who don't use iPhones, we can share whatever images or videos instantly. And the idea for him came from that. And
But that was bullshit though, because you've been able to share files via Bluetooth.
yeah, but anyway, he explained.
what?
How many people know that too?
How many people?
How many people are aware of that? I mean, iPhones, unless you really put some time and like.
No, I mean, it's not like a.
No. But anyway, I'll send you the link to the video. How he explains the simplicity of AirDrop versus other things that the lady was having issues with. But my point there being, he interacts so much with customers, and how much of that do you do in order to improve AfriDelivery and the services that you guys offer?
I interact a lot with customers. Luckily for us, customer penetration in Zambia has been quite good. So anywhere I go, there's at least somebody that knows how he's used AfriDelivery.
Right.
So it makes it easy for me to get immediate feedback. And I use AfriDelivery when I visit people. Like,
Show them.
yeah, like, okay, let's get something to eat. Let's get some alcohol. Let's use AfriDelivery and so on. So I experiment with them. And most of them are very honest to tell me, okay, this and this and this and this is not working. But so I've got what we call an overview. So I've got 3 screens in my house. So one, I can do stuff. Then I've got another tablet looking at my team in the office working. But then I've got another screen showing real-time communication between my customers and everything happening. So I can see, okay, if a customer is not happy, why are they not happy? I can even see simple things like today in the morning, I was addressing grammar errors from my call center team to my customers. I was telling them, my customers don't want to be receiving messages
With bad grammar.
I'm quite pedantic as well. I want
Work
correct
on your grammar.
messages.
If you're responding to what, because there are very small things. The details is, I look at the details.
They
I'm
want to suffer.
Punctuation is not punctuation. What did you say?
They want me suffer.
Oh, okay.
Grammar.
Punctuation is also something. I'm like, okay, why would you start a sentence with lowercase? Does it make any sense?
And not end with a full stop.
Yeah, I'm like, and also some of these guys, not that they don't know, it's just that they just don't think about it. They don't play it, and also so my strategy is a bit different. I get involved. So the people that face my customers are my drivers. I've got a very good relationship with my drivers, even if that guy said he doesn't know me. So I talk to them a lot. They've got direct communication to me, because they're also they understand the gym. They understand my mission, what I'm trying to do. So I try and really feed them all this, and they're able. If you look at our reviews, our customers give our drivers very good reviews. Even if we fucked up on something, they'll be like, okay, the rider was polite, the rider was nice, and so on and so forth. And it whatever feeling the customer is getting from the driver, I try be the one to put that in the driver, and the driver is just the one transferring it to the customer. So that's how I interact with my customers, other than getting immediate feedback. Yeah.
Quick question. What are the top 2 things that you feel people that are going to stop using AfriDelivery, or the things that you feel you could improve on?
We could improve on. You can always improve on a lot of things.
So I'll tell you the feedback that I've heard from a lot of people that have complained about AfriDelivery.
There's so many. Okay, first of all, whatever we can improve on, there's one thing I need people to understand. AfriDelivery is a very small part of the food that you receive. Okay? AfriDelivery just picks. Okay, AfriDelivery is a platform, first of all, that allows you to order. And there are businesses, actually. We need to talk about them, not only AfriDelivery. AfriDelivery allows you to order. AfriDelivery assigns a rider to pick. AfriDelivery delivers. AfriDelivery doesn't prepare the food. In many cases, 60-70% of the time, of the reason why there's issues with any delivery is because either maybe the restaurant took too long to prepare the food, or they packed it in a funny way, or you get. But of course, since we're the
You guys have become like the face.
So
Your frustrations, the frustrations.
and we take that, we accept that. But unfortunately, in many cases, when you give this feedback to our partners, they don't want to work on it.
The biggest one that I've heard you sort of touched on it is how long it takes to get the food.
It takes quite some time, because it will take you 40-50 minutes to wait for food preparation. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, my friend, you will wait for an hour waiting for that food.
No, but my pushback here, bruh, is I order from Nando's a lot.
Yeah.
If I order directly from Nando's to deliver, it will take them half an hour. If I order via AfriDelivery, it will take twice that amount.
An hour?
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, there is something you need to understand. I don't think, first of all, it takes half an hour. Maybe it's
with Nando's directly?
It depends on the time that you order. But in many cases, okay, I'll explain to you why. Number one, these riders are not just stationed at Nando's, so they have to be dispatched from whatever point they were at, okay? And also, there is certain, unless you're one of the unlucky ones, there's certain peak hours and off-peak hours. So if you order your food during off-peak hours, and this is a general problem across probably all platforms. I'm not trying to defend AfriDelivery.
Right.
But there's certain times if you order, it's peak hour, and customers know that, okay, my food will take a bit longer. Let me explain to you why. Because number one, don't forget also these restaurants have got in-house guests. Okay. And unfortunately, in-house guests are always the priority. So you'll find that your driver might sit there for quite some time, or the restaurant just has a backlog. Okay. So there's some. Where do you live?
Kingsland.
Where do you order from? Which Ibex?
Ibex.
I've never seen you use AfriDelivery. You use AfriDelivery.
I do use AfriDelivery. I've got the app.
As who?
As myself. How many customers do you have?
I know each and every one of my customers.
Bullshit.
Then you order once like a month.
I just told you why. Because it takes a while.
No. You should try it.
But
Okay.
wait, Wallace, how would you know who's ordering what? I mean, how many users? How many users do you have?
I will
know
tell
a
you
lot.
that is true.
I
I would.
know a lot.
Again, I don't know if I should share this story, but I'm itching.
Maybe you
Please
should.
tell me to.
Depends. Don't mention any names though.
I won't mention names.
Okay.
There's a girl you met.
Through AfriDelivery.
No. You
Yeah.
saw her on AfriDelivery.
Yeah.
Then you saw her in person.
Snitch.
Did I? And you told her that I have seen you on AfriDelivery.
Oh yeah. I've seen your face.
I've seen your face on AfriDelivery.
Seen your face on AfriDelivery. Yeah, because customers are allowed to put pictures and so on.
So Elson is coming there anonymously with a
No.
different face.
No, I'm not going to do that.
But try it again. Try different restaurants.
Tonight I will.
Try different restaurants.
But I promise you, I've done that a couple of times, and I've had somebody that said the same thing too. That no, it takes way too long. So that's one of the things that I figured.
maybe that's always good feedback though.
You know what? That's
That
good
means
feedback.
you've got something
But
to
then
work on.
the problem could be the number of users. Well, how many users do you have?
Quite a number. I can't mention the number, but it's quite a lot. And also now
100,000.
users. Okay, we've got. Okay, so in total, so users are classified like this. You've got active users,
Right.
and then you've
Passive.
got just normal users. Normal users are in hundreds of thousands, but active users you're probably looking at 60, 70,000.
Wow. And you would remember Elson out of
That's my
60
point.
to
That's the point I was
70,000.
driving at. Yeah.
So now you've got repeat users. Our customers are creatures of habit. So we know customers that will come and order every single day and so on. Yeah. And to be honest, food delivery is a luxury. It's expensive and also food generally here is expensive. So it's not something someone will order or use every day.
Can I ask you a question? Well, that's why you're here.
Yeah, sure.
You're not here.
I don't like when people ask me, can I ask you a question? You're already asking me a question.
You're
Anyway.
not here for your health. Data is king. It's gold.
Yeah.
And you have got a wealth of it. You know what Kalenga orders. You know what times of the month he orders the most.
Yeah.
You know if Kalenga has got a side chick.
Yeah.
Because you know Kalenga is married.
orders, but the food doesn't go
and
home.
There you go. So you know all this information.
Yeah.
And restaurants would pay an arm and a leg for this kind of information. How much of information like that do you sell?
You can't sell information.
Why not?
It's illegal.
Unless if you put it in the terms of conditions that whatever information we
We
gather,
can use the information.
Yeah, because I mean, Facebook is always selling our information
You can
too.
use the information to market your brand, us directly. But we can't give you. I can't come and tell you. I've got enough information. I've got quite a lot of information actually.
Because
if I wanted to open my own restaurant, I would today. And
Because-
it would excel.
Yeah,
'Cause
because
you
my,
know.
because my point is
do
Nando's
so
would
well.
want to know when Kalenga buys his food the most.
You know. Let me tell you something, and this is my challenge to these partners. And forget about the restaurants actually. My challenge to these partners, and this is something. So I've been privileged enough to travel to the first world, developed worlds, and countries, and so on. And you'd be shocked at the amount of data they use, okay, based on the data they receive. For example, myself, I've been to these restaurants and I told them, do you know how much data I have of yours? And these restaurants, not even one is coming to me to ask me for this data so that they can use it for marketing. So it's also, there's a mind shift that has to also happen when it comes to the partners on ground. These guys need to understand that in the next 5 years, or not even 5, 2-3 years, whatever we're doing, everything we're doing is data driven. So if I know, I probably know more than some of these guys know about their restaurants, their food and so on. And so I've got a ton of data, but not even, okay, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 has come to us and asked, oh, let me see the data. I know the time your customers order. I know how much they spend at the beginning of the month. I know how much their average basket size is. I know how much they spend at the end of the month. I know
where
their
they order
kids
from.
are.
Yeah.
Because we deliver to their kids, which is cool. I know because now we launch other things and so on, and we know how now that has transitioned now to them ordering, okay, home groceries and so on and so forth. So I know that on this day they ordered this. I know this is the pack of brand of juice that they like. I mean, there's so much information, but unfortunately, in the environment we're sitting in, people still don't understand the value of data. I've got all this data, and also, I mean, that's something Jens is always asking me, like, how come these guys don't use this data for their marketing? How come they don't use this data to push offers and so on? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's insane. You know why? Because they still believe the biggest customer is the walk-in customer. You understand? So they want to focus on that. And now they have to manually go. I don't know how. Of course, they've got this, what they call systems, which are still traditional systems. But if I go to a partner store on AfriDelivery and hit statistics, you'll be shocked at the data. And it's analyzed data. You know, it's broken down, granular data. It's broken down. So it shows you everything. It shows you seasons. It shows you dates.
Right.
It shows you. You can even tell the customer's mood from whatever they're ordering. You'll be shocked at the amount of stuff you've got access to. But these guys are not using this data, right? I've got this data for the last 5-6 years.
Have you approached them to tell them you have this data and how they can use it?
Yeah, I got tired. That's why it's easy for me to just...
Or they're not just seeing the value in this data.
They haven't.
Right.
And it's not my fault. It's not my fault.
As with every other thing in Africa, always late to the party.
It's not my fault.
Yeah.
Because now, I mean, in the next 2-3 years, or maybe they're waiting for another COVID. I don't know. I don't know. Because
They probably know things we don't.
The online market really hit it during COVID. But now, I don't know. It's tricky. I don't know who runs these businesses, but they really have a lot to put, because you can't scale without information.
No, you cannot.
You can't scale without data, man. I don't know how they really do I don't know whether they look at 5 years and say, okay, I want to have 5, 6, 10 stores in a mall. Who's doing that?
Yeah.
Nobody's opening retail stores anymore.
No.
Nobody.
Yeah. You guys want to ask Wallace anything? Feel free. Coin
always has a question, yeah.
Can we have the camera? Nibbit?
He wants to eat now.
Can we have the camera on Coin?
He wants to eat now.
So people know who the hell he is. There you go. That is Coin. So for the people that have been asking a lot about Coin, you say, well, oh yeah, man. People gotta know.
Richard, do you have any question?
Richard?
Afri online group is very different. I've not seen this in any other country. The more advanced countries, people have specialized. So they are only doing the couriers. For example, in Kenya, they're only doing, like, there's one company that just does the riders. Then there's another company, the Jumias, the Glovos, that do that. Then the websites, we go directly to the website of the supermarkets, the stores. So what opportunity? And so being in Zambia, I'm blown away by the opportunity that is here.
You're from Kenya, innit?
Yeah, I'm from Kenya. Like, all I see is opportunity. And even with where the mobile money is, Kenya, for example, is getting saturated because there's so many different people in it. Here it's just opportunity. So now my question goes into the expansion of this Afri online group. Where do you see it with the Afri supermarket? Like, how do you see that happening? How do you see the ride? How do you see that expanding? As my question made sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
We've talked a lot about AfriDelivery, but I'm like, why then did you jump into this courier service?
Courier.
Yeah, courier service. Potato. Why? What have you seen with Afri supermarket?
That convinced you to get into it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll speak about Afri Supermarket. So we launched Afri Supermarket in October last year. Afri Supermarket is just a grocery store.
Yeah.
Online. It has a whole different demographic. It has different users and so on, and it gives you access to just your household goods, fast-moving consumer goods. It was a good business because, first of all, it's a bit different from AfriDelivery, being that it accommodates everyone, and the pricing there is pretty. The pricing is really good, even compared to a traditional supermarket. So, if you go to one of these chain stores, you probably find that Afri Supermarket is cheaper than these chain stores. That's one. About the logistics. So we still sit with a lot of traditional businesses that are looking for last mile delivery solutions, but haven't really digitized their processes. For example, if you look at basically anybody that has a website, okay? So if you have a website and you're selling stuff, but then you don't want to deal with the hassle of logistics, what do you do? Because you can easily go to, for example, AfriDelivery app, select courier, and place an order from there, and then it will come to us. We do the dispatch, but it's too much work. So what we've done is now we've built APIs, okay, that allow now us to integrate with the system directly, and they call each other. So for example,
You know what an API is?
No, please educate me, Alson.
So when you would like to integrate into one system,
Right.
that is a sort of document that tells you basically, do you have an open API?
no, not yet.
It's not open.
No.
Okay, so it's a document that you give to the other party that basically
But it
tells
will
them
be
how to
I see that a
integrate.
lot when I'm downloading DJing software.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
They don't teach us in first year.
So basically what would happen is, in this case, is if you're selling something, you don't want to deal with logistics, the hassle, you can just integrate into our API, and the logistics part will come to us. Just that part. So we'll do the fulfillment for you. That's why I feel there's still a huge gap in the market.
So the API is only open to the
guys integrating with us, but we'll put it out there for anybody that wants to integrate. It doesn't really matter. And also now, if you look at our range of assets, we've got wide range of assets. We've got motorbikes, that's what people see, but we've got a lot of three-wheelers, tuk-tuks. We also have trucks. So it allows us to do logistics or transportation for bigger cargo.
right.
You understand? So as much as, how many courier companies do you have in the country? Maybe like hundreds, 200, especially in the last couple of months. But then there still sits a huge opportunity in two things. Number one, technology. Technology is very important into what we're doing, because there has to be some sort of digital integration into all this. And it can only be done through tech. And there's the last mile delivery part. You need to be able to have a room to transport things that cannot fit in a 40 by 40 by 40 box.
Yeah.
So that's what we are currently focusing on as a business. I mean, of course, we're also doing smaller items, but there's so much more that we're doing, and I'll be speaking about in the coming future. That is not only the food delivery part that people know AfriDelivery for. AfriDelivery is still the logistics partner that we use for each and our other businesses that we launch. But there's so much more that we're doing behind the scenes and also in front of the scenes that people will be able to see to understand what we've been building in the last 5 years. Yeah. Well, yeah.
My suggestion though is you might want to have an open API.
Yeah, I'll do that.
You know, similar to what, because MTN has got the sandbox. So it sort of gives a lot more partners just to integrate into your system, especially if it's already open. So you basically let anybody that wants to integrate into, but you choose what they're integrating into. So if you've got like different services, but it's going to be just logistics only, and that is the only access of what the extent of what they can integrate into.
Yeah, and there's also another thing we integrated in Afri Supermarket, which is quite genius. I don't know that I'm allowed to talk about this, but should be live soon. I might as well.
Yeah.
So if you go to Afri Supermarket, we've integrated with one of these credit facilitators in the country, where you can buy your goods
On credit
without any interest. Okay,
You said without.
interest free. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can borrow. If you don't have money, you can borrow, and you will be able to instantly get an approval, and then you'll be able to use the same balance to do your shopping, and then your shopping will be delivered to you,
Amazing.
interest free.
Great stuff, man.
This guy's gonna make quite a lot of money. Well, he already has.
Wallace, I'm just glad we're already friends. And look at how I'm pushing, even though we rarely talk, but we are friends.
Cheers.
And I'm coming for that.
But yeah, let's get talking. I encourage young people we need to help each other, man. I mean, it's
You say young people, he doesn't fit in that demographic anymore.
no. I mean, us, basically. Us
Yes,
that
you are. You are young.
Us that are building businesses, man, really need to. There's a lot of growth that sits in us just doing stuff together. I may not have what you need now, but I probably know someone that does. Excuse me. I probably know someone that does. So let's get talking. Let's get connecting.
You can get it. You can still get into his inbox, get that advice and stuff, right? And remember, we've been still are at
Opain.
Opain.
The quality of the stuff here is freaking incredible.
It's amazing.
I mean, if I had
great,
like,
yeah.
it is right. Yeah. I wouldn't want to leave my house if I had like furniture like this in my house.
For what for, bruh?
For the who?
Till the next
You
episode.
too, Coin, right?
He doesn't want to leave. Remember to click on subscribe, like we
Please
emphasized
click subscribe.
at the beginning of this episode.
I think Wallace might actually give away a bit of money to people that are going to subscribe. So to the next 50 or so subscribers, we'll ask him to give
How
away
much
some.
money do you guys think I have?
A lot.
Enough.
We heard you give away cars.
Yep.
Hey,
You buy 3,000.
don't you know there's a drought?
Let me tell you, let me finish. You buy $3,000 Apple headphones to give away.
They're not $3,000.
How much did you buy them for?
Like 700 and something.
700 what?
Euros.
And what's that in dollars?
Like 1,000. Yeah.
To give away.
To give away to myself.
No.
Remember to
So,
click on
we know
subscribe.
you do
Yes.
have the money.
He has the money.
I don't. I'm hustling like everybody else.
So pledge
Please.
like just 5,000.
Support our business.
Pledge like just 5,000 to our people.
$5,000 is a lot. I don't give. I don't
So how
give,
much?
I can give vouchers. I can give meals. I can give goodies. I can give
Free
I can give
deliveries.
shopping vouchers, right?
Shopping vouchers.
Yeah, I can give 5 shopping vouchers for 5,000 on AfriDelivery.
There you go. Can we have them? Yes. We will give you details of how you can get those. What
On
you
Facebook.
need to do.
You will see it
on Facebook. So 5 vouchers with 5,000.
So 1,000 each.
Yes, of course.
5. Is it too much?
No, it's not. 1,000? No, it's not.
Too much, right?
It's fine. It's fair.
But then there has to be like some qualification. Probably.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
We'll come up with something.
Wait, can I apply?
No. Nobody in this room. And I know all your faces. I'm good with faces.
And as we end this episode, also remember to use AfriDelivery.
An Afri
As you
supermarket.
order
In
food.
Afri supermarket.
So actually, let me end with this. Can I just plug
Yes,
something?
please do.
So if you want to do your home shopping, download an app called Afri Supermarket. It's a beautiful app. Amazing app. And
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
you'll be shocked at how much shopping you can do there. It's a great product.
One other thing that I also wanted to find out, or 2 other things.
We're not leaving this place, are we?
No, we are in a second. Is correct me if I'm wrong. What makes this different to what you normally find if you were gonna go directly to ShopRite, for example, and order groceries for delivery? Is with you stock the groceries in your warehouse,
So partially.
so you are able to update your website according to the stock that you have. So it's never going to be you order ketchup and
It's not there, yeah.
we don't have it.
So what we do is we do daily updates in the morning of stock levels. So nothing is, unless it runs out in the course of the day, then that's the only reason why it might be out. But we also have third-party integration with other stores that allow us to do fulfillment through them.
Okay, cool.
So, but also there's the convenience aspect in it. So it's becoming a bit inconvenience to go to supermarkets.
Yeah.
Okay, especially if you can get the same product at either the same or lower cost delivered to you. So we do that. So we'll bring you the same product to you at a lower cost. And all you have to do is place an order in the morning and an hour or 2 max you get, depending on how big,
about the turnaround time.
depending on how big your shopping
order
is.
is.
Because what we've noticed is people are doing this, their monthly shopping. You'll be shocked at how much people are doing, what the monthly shopping of a typical home is. So that will probably take a max of 2 hours. But we're working on systems to help us to, and we also partner with if I say the biggest store, I can't mention the name, but the biggest store.
Supermarket? Or
Is it a supermarket? It's bigger.
interesting. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's huge. It's massive.
Yeah, that's
so
what
it
she
allows
said.
us to be able to offer best pricing and so
Nice.
on. Way better than you can imagine. So 90% of your home shopping, you can easily do it there. But also the user experience is amazing. When I talk about, because that's also there's a huge disconnect between the business model and the product. So what we've done, or based on the knowledge that we have, we're able to now synchronize the two and just make the whole experience amazing. So even when you're shopping, it's not complicated for you to shop. Yeah.
Guys, the chicken is getting cold.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, the other advantage that I've seen with Afri Supermarket, especially, is we have got parents that are in the diaspora.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
And they send their kids money for groceries. But these kids are going to like DeCapo or Chicago's and they're getting fucked up and they're not buying groceries. You have
Gift cards.
You've got gift cards where you can buy groceries specifically for the child and have those groceries delivered to the child. Like, I'm not buying your junky ass. I'm not giving you money.
And they can't convert it to cash, can they?
There's no refunds. You consume it then.
There you go.
Yeah.
The chicken is getting
A lot
cold.
of there's a huge market that sits in the diaspora for that product.
Yeah.
And it's doing pretty well.
Oh, that's
I mean, for a new product that we really didn't advertise, it's doing pretty well.
I think for me, the most important bit is if it can't be redeemed for cash, for me, that's the most important thing.
Then you're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Especially if you've got like, I don't know if your mom is anything like mine. If you send her money to say this is for groceries, do you know how much of it will actually go to groceries?
Relatives and
Most of it will go to the Papai church.
Yeah.
And then you go home and there's no
and
food.
what do they call those things? That's silk. A coin.
And then
That
you
thing
go
your mother
home
said.
and-
What do you call it? Silk. If you didn't buy when you send the money, all the money goes there, right?
Yeah, to village banking, and then you
Yeah.
go home and there's no food, and you're like, did I just send you money? What the F is this?
Guys, the chicken is getting cold.
Gentlemen, ladies, which camera is on me?
But
That one,
and
yeah.
the chicken go here quite fast.
Ish.
This guy's a hater.
Yet another
Never come to my
amazing.
house.
You say what?
No.
Oh, this guy is a pretty good cook, by the way.
Oh, serious?
Invited me to his house and he made a mean breakfast.
He
pretty
invited
quick.
himself, first of all.
I did not invite myself.
He's like, are you home? I'm like, yeah, it's like 8 in the morning. What's up? It's like, I'm on my way. I'm like, okay.
I need to start doing that at your house.
Yeah, please feel free.
What time do you normally have dinner?
You sent me that same question on Saturday and I didn't respond,
answer.
did I?
No, you didn't.
Don't answer.
Yeah.
Don't answer. Are you sure?
Should tell you
I
something.
even put it on my status. I've got 3 people and I need Coin's address as well. Just stumble into your house when you guys are having dinner.
The chicken is getting cold.
So yes,
to the next episode.
This has been a fucking amazing episode. Thanks a lot for doing this again.
Sure thing.
I think we might have a third,
A third, just
just to catch up on how things
When I raise
are.
a ton of cash, I'll come back.
No, you've already raised a ton of cash.
we'll pay you a 30 pin, bruh.
So-
even though that's nothing to you.
Please
Or charge
keep,
more.
yeah, please keep clicking the subscribe button. We need to get to 50 and 100,000 subscribers on YouTube soon. And we can only do that if you keep clicking. And Wallace has just told you, we will be giving away free vouchers. And part of how we know who we're going to give this to is if you hit the subscribe button. My name is Uncle Elson. This has been phenomenal.
I'm still shocked how we're sticking to this Uncle Elson thing. But to the next episode.
Why are you shocked?
Dun 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 Dun, 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 dun.